Somebody commented really valuable feedback for me where they said that they like my videos about rap beef, but they just don't know what's going on, and they would watch them if I gave some context. So I'm going to really dissect Kendrick's Euphoria diss towards Drake. If you haven't heard it, it's on YouTube. I will be reading some of the lyrics and talking about like the most standouts to me. I really like rap beef and studying the lines, and I thought I would let you in on the things that I learned. So if you didn't know, Kendrick Lamar just dropped Euphoria, which is a diss towards Drake. Part of the diss is that Euphoria is a show that Drake is a producer on. That includes some underage women doing some inappropriate things, which is in itself a diss to Drake liking younger women, Millie Bobby Brown. One of the first iconic lines that Kendrick says is, "I make music that electrify them. You make music that pacifies them," which is also a reference to the allegations that Drake likes underage girls. And also, though, Kendrick's music is very much like rebellion music or like protest music, you know what I mean? We Gonna Be Alright, BLM, not just that, before that, but do you know what I mean? Whereas, so the general, and I had to understand this, okay? I've been researching. The general critique of Drake, and I'm from Toronto, I'm a mixed girl from Toronto, so obviously, you know, around here, they play Drake in the clubs, like we listen to Drake all the time. But the general critique is that he doesn't speak up for Black culture. He only profits off of it, and that's why he shouldn't be able to say the N-word anymore. The general critique is that Drake uses Black culture, but he doesn't speak up for Black culture, which is why he shouldn't be able to say the N-word anymore, which is something that Kendrick says at the end, well, in the middle and at the end of the song. The song is very long, it's 6 minutes long, and allegedly there's a 19-minute version. Do you know how much you have to hate someone to make a 19-minute diss track? Like, I don't hate anyone that much at all. That's like so all-consuming. This guy really hates Drake, bro. Like, and he hates Canadians. And there's some stray Canadian hate going on. People are talking about, you know, F my maple syrup and hockey. I'm like, what? That's so random to me, but okay. Anyways, so the whole electrify and pacify is also kind of an ode to Kendrick really speaking for the culture and Drake being like surface level hit maker, which I think is pretty accurate. But I also think Drake never really pretended to be the leader of the culture. Like, I know he says he's the best or whatever, but I don't know. I think if he tried to be like activist-y, I think it would come off disingenuous, and I think people would still say, "Would you even know you're Canadian?" Do you know what I mean? Side note, somebody compared this beef to Hamilton, where Drake was Hamilton and Kendrick was Aaron Burr, because if you know Hamilton in theater, Aaron Burr is the biggest hater. So that's hilarious, and I want to see that in live theater on Broadway. Thank you. That'd be hilarious, bro. Then Kendrick goes to attack Drake's blackness and biracialness, saying, "How many more fairy tales, stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough? I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough." Okay. Now, there is a lot of biracial slander happening right now, and I'm not saying it's a big deal, you know, I take it with a grain of salt. I just think that in a situation like this, you genuinely can't really win because, you know, people are saying he could be talking to J. Cole in some of this, right? But people also say J. Cole speaks up for the culture more. Well, I think that can be true. There's also instances like with No Name where he just acts stupid. He has some songs where he's kind of really misogynistic and talking about black men coming home and like beating their wives because they're so stressed, and how the society puts pressure on black men, and then that's what ends up happening, and just the tone of it is like not great. So if I think we're talking about conscious rap, Kendrick obviously takes it, and J. Cole is like very indecisive about what his morals and values are. That's why he stepped out of the beef, which is also just like, I respect it for his piece, but that's not really like the art of rap beef. So it's kind of like a little bit despicable in a way, because it's like you should have just not said things that you don't mean, but J. Cole does that. Do you know what I mean? And there is a reference to him saying, like from Euphoria towards J. Cole saying something about his braids. Is it the dreads? Like, are they twisted too tight? Is that why you're not thinking clearly? The thing about the how long till you feel black enough is that when Drake or anyone says, oh, I don't know if I fit in with the black kids or the white kids, or I don't feel black enough, that's not acceptable to say in common society anymore. So to say, oh, like, do you feel black enough? To me, it's just like, I get it, but it's you can't win, because for Drake to feel, and this isn't about Drake, obviously, this is about me as a biracial person interpreting this as a biracial person, okay? If you don't like me personalizing this, well, this is my channel. Hello, my name's Kira, and you can skip this part if you don't want to hear me talking about my experience as a biracial person, which I acknowledge my privilege. I just think if Drake said that he felt black enough, people would be like, no, you don't. But then if he said he didn't feel black enough, they'd be like, shut the fuck up. So that to me is like, okay, it's a good one, because what are you gonna say? He can't really like respond to that. And also you shouldn't say the N-word. Now, I personally don't say the N-word because I didn't grow up really saying it. So it doesn't really make sense for it to like be in my vocabulary. I don't know how Drake grew up, you know? And just because he grew up with a white mother, a lot of times, I don't know if this is everywhere, but particularly here, I think this is a lot of places. A lot of black men or light-skinned men grow up with single mothers who might be white, but then when they get involved in their school and their community, they often are taken in to the black community. I don't know what Drake's circumstance is. I don't know if he grew up saying it. I think that's a valid critique for Kendrick to say, like, you know, and I don't know how Drake is going to respond to that. That's pretty hard to respond to. Do you know what I mean? Like, if anybody's going to find an interesting response, it would be Drake, though. Because Drake very much has, like, that fuckboy energy of, like, ha ha ha. And here's the thing. One of the lines is, when you see yourself with sexy red, I believe you see two bad bitches. That's what Kendrick said about Drake. Part of it is a little bit misogynistic because we're saying femininity is bad. And I know that BBL Drake is like a meme and it is funny, but I like a lot of like the bad bitch music that Drake makes. Now that is also the critique of like, oh, Drake only makes hit music for clubs, but he also makes music that women like to dance to. Do you know what I mean? And then he says, they don't tell you you haven't told them where you get your abs from, implying that Drake has a BBL, which maybe he does. You know, I think Kanye has work done too, to be honest. And I think Kanye also kind of convinced his mother to get work, and isn't that how she died? I digress. Drake is not the only one out here getting work done. Kendrick obviously doesn't have work done, and they're very much completely different types of people. I see Kendrick as like the poet who has the Pulitzer Prize and is like the pen of it all and is authentic and real and like actually a family guy. But Drake is a hit maker. Drake is a bot maker. Drake is what you're dancing to, and people are acting like what you're dancing to is not important, and as a dancer, I really don't care. Maybe you don't get it. Fine. Okay? You listen to lyrical melodies and like all that all the time. That's great for you. I need to freestyle sometimes, and I need something that like gets me whatever. Okay? And obviously Kendrick does that too. But I'm just saying, when I'm talking about variants of like kinds of dance music and just the routines I've done so many routines from other choreographers to Drake, because his music inspires a lot of people to dance. I think that's important. Kendrick's does as well. Drake's has a wider variety of moods for dancing. That's a fact. Okay? And I like when Drake said in Push-Ups, which, if you don't know, is actually streamable, which I freaking appreciate. I don't like that Kendrick's is like, I have to go on Twitter to listen to it. In Push-Ups, he says, you guys talking about Kendrick and everybody else, all the other 20 people against him. You guys can't book outside of America. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan, which I love the way he says it, because I'm big in Japan. Like, I love that song. I love the way that part sounds in my ear. Sue me. Sue me, okay? Drake fan, guilty. Canadian, guilty. Biracial, guilty. I'm just kidding. There's a stand-up bit in there somewhere, for sure. One day when I'm 40 years old, I'm gonna do stand-up. Or maybe when I'm 30. Who knows? I'm 26 right now, by the way. So, yeah, and he's saying, I'm the hitmaker you depend on. Drake he has a very worldwide sound, and I think the American hip-hop culture, there's also very much, I don't know if you've noticed, there's been more of a, oh, what does it mean to be Black in America versus Black in Africa discussion lately. Like, and even the UK, like, there's been a lot of like regional Black on Black, I don't know, kind of disagreements, or talking about who has real culture, whose culture is more important or authentic, which I think is like kind of reductive in the way people go about it, because it seems very much like, oh, I'm better than you. No, we're better than you. Whereas we all have different sorts of identities for different reasons and various levels of oppression in our different countries for, I don't know. It's just like, it feels stupid to be like there's some African TikTokers versus African American TikTokers saying, I guess some African TikTokers saying like Americans have no culture, Black Americans have no culture. So I think Kendrick can feel like the culture. That is everything that they can say, this represents like Black American culture. And so a lot of this diss that Euphoria is from Kendrick towards Drake is saying, what do you know about our culture? You're Canadian. You're Canadian, and you've made Tupac roll over in his grave with the AI diss. And which he had to take down, by the way, because Tupac's estate was like, we didn't give you permission to use that, and you've disgraced the name of Tupac and hip hop in doing so, and cultivating a fake AI voice rap on your Instagram for another fake, I think that tailor-made freestyle. Now let's get to the catchiest part of the song. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you dress. I hate you. I hate everything that you are. I hate your mom. I hate your mom's wigs. I hate your accent. He starts mocking the Canadian accent, which, by the way, I don't say Crody, and I know no one who does. Like, I don't know anyone who has said that word in real life. It's very much like, oh, Canadians like have igloos and ride polar bears to school, and they say Crody, and they have you. Not that there's people who do. I don't see them very much, honestly. And that's because of a few reasons. I feel like that part of that is like very much like a Brampton man's thing, maybe. Like, there's Saga, but like definitely Brampton. You know, I live downtown, so there's a lot of Nigerian culture here, a lot of Trini culture, so obviously, like, you know, there's so many different accents, but people around me don't be saying Crody, so I guess it's Brody slang, but like Crip, you know, because they'll be like, we'll take out the B and put it with the C. I digress, and I want to say I have lived in Los Angeles and Toronto, so not to be like, if anybody could talk about this, it'd be me. I'm just kidding. But like, I have been to the birthplaces of both parties. So, and I have lived in LA and Toronto. So like, I see both sides. You know what I mean? No, and I think that both of them are absolutely necessary. Both of them are absolutely necessary. Kendrick lyrically eats. Ate him up. Ate him up. Drake probably still will respond, but I'm not done combing through the lyrics, okay? So, yeah, Cole and Aubrey know I'm selfish. The crown is heavy. I'll pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. And then he says he's gonna explain that reference. No, that was a little bit earlier in the song. He said that he loves them to death, and he would explain that in 8 bars. That was the bar. The I'm YNW Melly. This is a person, I think, who shot his friends, or shot double murder charges, death of his friends. Yes, that's who YNW Melly is. And he did respond on Twitter saying Kendrick is one of my favorite rappers. I'm a household name just for the wrong thing. At least he's self-aware. Kendrick also said that everything Drake said in Push Ups is wrong about like the 50-50, because Drake's whole thing was like, you don't even get all the money, like why are you talking big, like blah blah blah. And Kendrick is saying the money, the power, the respect. And I saw somebody break this down. They're saying that Drake is the money, J. Cole is the power, which I don't agree with that. I get where they're coming from. And then maybe Kendrick is saying that J. Cole is the power, but I don't agree with that. And then Kendrick is the respect. And he says the last one's better, being the respect, being Kendrick. Which I agree, respect is better. But there's a reason pop things are popular. You know what I mean? And that's why it's like, we can't throw it away and be like, that's trash. I mean, I can't, and I won't. But that's just me. But I do agree Kendrick is the most respected rapper of our time, I would say. And I also saw somebody say the only person that could like really maybe go toe-to-toe even more with Kendrick would be Lil Wayne. I love Lil Wayne. Which is funny because like Cash Money. So there's a lot of ghostwriting allegations for Drake, which I don't know have been happening through all of the years. And Kendrick says it's not 20 versus 1, which is something that Drake said in Push Ups. Kendrick says it's not 20 versus 1, it's 1 versus 20, because Kendrick's saying I'm battling you and your ghostwriters, which is kind of funny. And then he's literally just saying, I hate you. Like, I hate the way you walk, you talk, you dress, you sneak diss. If I fly, it's going to be direct, saying if he is starting a fight, you're going to know it's explicitly about you. My camera died, so the rest of this is on my phone, sorry. One of the more poignant lines is Kendrick basically calling Drake a deadbeat father. He's saying, you wouldn't know nothing about that, about waking your son up in the morning, teaching him how to pray, fatherhood in general. You wouldn't know, that's a solid diss. And saying he's raising his son Adonis. It's a callback to Pusha T's scathing the story of Adonis. Kendrick also talks about Pusha T, references Pusha T's diss, which is exposing Adonis, Drake's son. We didn't know that Drake had a son before that, if you remember. I forgot. Honestly, I forgot. That feels like so long ago now. Anyways, Pusha T, no, pushing me. Okay, dementia must run in his family, but let it get shaky. I park your son. The very first time I shot me a Drake, the homie had told me that aim it this way. I didn't point down enough. Today, I show you I learn from those mistakes. Inherited the beef from Pharrell and references Pusha T, and says you have fake abs and you got it, implying he got it from lipo. And he says all of your bitches are fake. They're not like ours, who are real women. Don't mistake your women for our women. I don't know how I feel about that line in regards to talking badly about women in that way. But there's what's in my hair? There's no rap beef without some misogyny and territorial women being spoken about as cattle, is there? When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see 2 bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. That's real competition. You might pop ass with them. Again, it's like, I like that Drake is like for the girls. Like Drake being like just a girly and being like, yeah, let's shake, let's twerk, and I can't get this dust to save my life. It's from my pillow. I love that he makes music like that, so I'm not gonna complain about it. I can see that like some very masked guys will be like, oh look, he said that you twerk, he says that you shake. with other girls. He says that you're a bad bitch. That's like, you know, making fun of somebody for being feminine is, I guess, like valid because Drake is obviously has allegations that are not good, but it's not something that for me comes off as a big diss because I don't care if he paints his nails and has a BBL. I really don't care. So, but generally though, Kendrick obviously ate him up. Lyrically, I don't think anybody's beating Kendrick, but hit-wise, Drake makes bobs, and I hope he comes back with another bob. I think we are going to hear from him soon. Joe Budden says he thought 10 hours. It's been more than that, so we'll see, but I'm excited for what's to come. And I will talk to you next time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, please, and if you liked this. Yep, and I'll see you soon. Bye.